It is 2 o'clock on December 9th, and I'm called the Code Enforcement Board meeting to order. Bobbie, would you please call
Yes, ma'am.
the order?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Wade is absent and excused. Mrs. Archer?
Here.
Mr. Weeks is absent and excused. Mrs. Tellier?
Here.
Mr. Perfidio?
Here.
Mr. Rolleston?
Here.
Mr. Stamas is absent. And Dr. Matea?
Here.
Thank you. That completes your roll call, ma'am.
I'd like to ask Attorney Trask if he would give the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Would
Yes.
everybody please stand?
Our Heavenly Father, we gather together here today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us that task. We meet to serve the city of Tarpon Springs, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, and to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and our community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations today. This we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, where's our flag?
It's over there behind that thing. I couldn't move it. Sorry.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sorry. I'm going to read the board hearing procedures. It is the intention of this board to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Tarpon Springs by promoting an equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing various codes within the city of Tarpon Springs. Any aggrieved party may appeal a final administrative order of this board to the circuit court. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 days of the execution of the order to be appealed. Florida Statutes 286.0105 requires any party appealing a decision of this board to have a record of the proceedings to support such an appeal. The procedures of the board is as follows. First, the city presents its witnesses and exhibits, after which the alleged violator is able to ask the city's witnesses any specific questions regarding their testimony. Secondly, the alleged violator is allowed to make a presentation and present his or her witnesses and exhibits. Then the city can question the alleged violator's witnesses. After both rounds of testimony, both on the part of the city and the part of the alleged violator, each party is asked to give a closing argument, first by the city and then by the alleged violator. After those three steps are taken, this board will close the public hearing portion of the case to discuss it and take appropriate action. Before we begin the public hearings, we will have all potential witnesses stand up and be sworn in by the secretary of the board. So will you be speaking?
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Be seated.
And we ask that you turn off all your cell phones. Okay, we'll start out with new business. A new business is the election of chairperson. And Attorney Trask?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, as you know, your rules of procedure were adopted in September of 1989. Those rules require at the organizational meeting in December of each year for you to pick your chair and your vice chair for the following 12 months. Today is that day that you need to do that. So what I'd like to do is maybe start off with the selection of the chairperson for the upcoming year. The way that will be done is by nominations from the floor. If there is more than one nomination, we'll take maybe a paper or ballot vote. So I'd start off with, are there any nominations from the floor for chairperson for the upcoming year?
Can I nominate Julie Wade? I know she's absent, but she's the incumbent.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for chair for the coming year? Okay, there being no further nominations for the chair position, Ms. Wade would be considered the upcoming chairperson. There's no need for a vote because of the fact there are no other nominations. So Ms. Wade will be the chair next year. As for vice chair, are there any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Mr. Perfidio.
I was going to nominate Mrs. Archer.
Okay, so we have a nomination for Mr. Perfidio and a nomination for Mrs. Archer. Any other nominations? Okay, there being no other nominations, what we'll go and do is go to a paper vote. So maybe what we'll just do is we'll just provide you with something to vote on. And then if you would place, I'll just go ahead and rip these up and hand them down to you. Two things I need you to do. I need you to make your choice or your selection for the vice chair, and I need you to sign these ballots. As you know, the Sunshine Law requires there to be knowledge as to who is making the vote.
Mr. Trask, Ms. Archer, would you like to continue on? Yes or no?
She said no.
I'd kind of like to pass it up this time.
Okay, I don't think we have a vote anymore.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then can I rescind my nomination?
Okay, so Mrs. Archer, you don't wish to do it, and the nomination's been removed. Okay, so right now what I've got then is I've got a nomination from the floor for Mr. Perfidio. Anyone else? Okay. That being said, if there are no other nominations, then Mr. Perfidio is going to be our vice chair for the upcoming year. So congratulations to both Ms. Wade again and Mr. Perfidio, and thank you, Mrs. Archer, for your work as the vice chair in all these years past. So I'll transfer it back over to you for the next agenda item.
Okay. Okay, we'll start out on new business. Agenda number, not agenda number, 21-800000578 for 41041 US Highway 19 North, RCATC Corporation System. Is there anyone here from there? Okay. Beth, you want to go on?
Sure. My name is Beth Hughes. I'm the FACE Certified Code Inspector for the City of Tarpon Springs. This is case number 21-800000578, 41041 US Highway 19 North. Exhibit 1 contains all the photographs. Exhibit 2 contains all the notices to include the notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 3 contains the administrative documents to include the case summary, property appraiser, and tax collector records. Exhibit 4 is the affidavit of posting and a copy of the sign. All the photographs and exhibits that were given to the violator are exact copies of what is being presented to the board. All notices were mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser and Tax Collector databases. All notice of violation and notice of hearings are sent return receipt requested and first-class mail. And Madam Chair, please accept all exhibits into the record as evidence.
Thank you. Bobbie, will you please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have not had any contact with the owner. On September 30th, of 2021, I conducted an initial inspection. Debris was in the right-of-way debris was in the right-of-way and trash. There was a silt fence from the demolition that had never been removed, a broken gate, trash, and the property was overgrown. There were also pepper trees growing on the east side of the property. So on September 30th of 2021, a notice of violation was mailed. The green card was returned, stamped, received. On October 20th of 2021, I conducted a reinspection. The right-of-way had been cut at that time, but the other portions of the property were still overgrown. The silt fence had not been removed, and the pepper trees on the east side of the property had not been removed. I had also contacted the NPDES inspector from the building department and asked them to contact the contractor to remove the silt fence, and it still was not removed. On October 20th of 21, a final notice of violation was mailed. The green card was returned, stamped received. I conducted another reinspection on November 9th of 2021. The pepper trees were not removed, the silt fence was not removed, and the right-of-way was overgrown again. On November 10th of 2021, a notice of hearing was mailed, and the green card was returned, stamped received. On November 29th of 2021, the sign was posted, and the affidavit of posting was signed. I conducted the final inspection yesterday on December 8th of 2021. The right-of-way is still overgrown, the silt fence still has not been removed, and the pepper trees have not been removed, and there is trash and debris. So let me go ahead and show you the pictures. Okay, so this is the initial inspection. Oh, I forgot, I finally brought a mouse. Oh, there we go. So there's the overgrowth. More overgrowth on the property. There's the silt fence. The demolition had taken place, and they do require a silt fence until the grass does take hold. I did double check to make sure that that's an acceptable grass or vegetation accumulation for the removal of the silt fence, and I was told yes by Shannon, who is the NPDES inspector. Again, more overgrowth. Those are the pepper trees that are on the property. They've become quite thick. I believe they had removed them in the past, and they've grown back. More, again, I have another picture of the pepper trees. More overgrowth along the right-of-way. So as of yesterday, this is the pictures from yesterday. This is the pepper trees still have not been removed. You can see the berries from them over here, so it's pretty thick, full of pepper trees. The silt fence is still not removed and is falling down. And this is the right-of-way on, I believe, Lemon Street that's blocking the sidewalk and very, very tall. And just more overgrowth on the right-of-way. Okay, so what I'm requesting of the Code Board members today is to find the property in violation of City Code 8-52, nuisance prohibitions, and in violation of City Code 133.03 for tree exemptions. That would be the pepper tree ordinance. And that concludes my testimony.
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Hughes? Do you have anything to summarize?
No, ma'am, I think I covered it all. Thank you.
Beth, you've had contact with the owner?
I have, we've sent all the notices to the property owner of record. I've stopped in CVS and asked them to contact the corporate office to contact me on multiple occasions and have not had any
Nothing after
contact.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Someone want to make a motion?
Okay. I move based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented in the law that at the time of the alleged violations, sections City Code 8-52 and City Code 133.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Tarpon Springs was enforced in effect. The respondents were in violation thereof.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Anyone want to say anything? Okay, Bobbie, you want to call roll?
Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Perfidio?
Aye.
Mrs. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
That completes your roll call.
Okay. Do you have any idea on the compliance or an idea on the fines or anything?
Oh, a recommendation?
Recommendation, yeah. I'm sorry.
This is actually the first time that we have I have in the past been able to get compliance without coming to code board, so I would say $50 a day would be my recommendation.
Okay. Well, if someone want to make a motion?
Is this something, Beth, that would take some time to be resolved?
The most difficult thing would be the pepper tree removal, only because they need to be, all regrowth needs to be prevented for perpetuity. So the way they typically do that is to, as soon as it's cut, and of course they grow very thick, once it's all removed, they would need to paint it usually with a poison to keep them from regrowing. So I'd say the pepper tree removal is the biggest thing. Otherwise it's cutting, picking up the trash, and taking the silt fence out. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, I entertain a motion.
Okay, yeah. I move that the respondents shall have until 6 January to bring the property in compliance with code sections 8-52 and 133.03, or suffer a fine of $50 per day for each day thereafter the respondents remain in violation of said code sections.
I second.
Any discussion? Bobbie, want to call roll?
Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Perfidio?
Aye.
Mrs. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Please your roll call.
Just go on to the next one. The next one is 20-800000240 at 110 North Spring Boulevard, Maria Alferez, Annexi, and the trust, Annexi Trust. Is there anyone here? Okay, you want to come up to the podium and may I ask what your relationship is to the property?
I'm
The
a
owner?
contractor. I'm her son.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to need to get some names. Son first.
Oh,
Sir,
yeah,
what is your
sorry.
name?
George Nexi.
Okay, Mr. Nexi. And the person beside you?
Basile Cantos.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Okay, the city needs to proceed first, so you could take a seat then.
Yeah.
Okay, my name is Beth Hughes. I'm the FACE Certified Code Inspector for the City of Tarpon Springs. This is case number 20-800-00240 for 110 North Spring. Exhibit 1 contains all the photographs. Exhibit 2 contains all the notices to include the notice of violation and notice of hearing. Exhibit 3 contains the administrative documents to include the case summary, property appraiser, and tax collector records. Exhibit 4 is the affidavit of posting and a copy of the sign. All the photographs and exhibits that were given to the violator are exact copies of what is being presented to the board. All notices were mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser and Tax Collector databases. All notice of violation and notice of hearings are sent return receipt requested and first-class mail. Madam Chair, please accept all exhibits into the record as evidence.
I just need to ask, Mr. Nexi, do you have any objection to the evidence being put in for? Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so we have had contact with the owner. Initially, we had contact with Ms. Nexi, and since then with her son Jorge, Mr. Contos, as well as the son-in-law, Mr. Hilton, right? Yes, okay. So on May 22nd of 2020, I was not the inspector. The initial inspection was conducted by Officer Gasson. He received a complaint for the property having a dock with missing slats and the gate leaning over, posing a risk. He observed a dock in poor condition. The gate was barely attached and leaning. There were also missing slats on the deck, and the dock beams were in poor condition and failing. On the north side of the house, it appears that there was, it was being used to store old furniture, equipment, and other debris. Basically, the case moving forward today is only for the dock repair. The other items came into compliance some time ago. Back in February 22nd of 2021, the dock appears to have been repaired, but the permit was not completed. Several notices were mailed to Ms. Zanexi, and again, all violations were complied except for the dock repair with permits. Mr. Anexi and Mr. Hilton took over her properties and the name changed. The dock was repaired, however, the permit process was not completed, and we made Mr. Anexi aware of that. So what we ended up doing was changing the name to the current owner when the property ownership had changed. So on May 25th of 2021, I spoke to the county to get a status of the dock permit and was given their county permit number. She stated it was in review status, and they had made a site visit, but there were no notes at that time. So on July 29th of 2021, we had a meeting between the county and Mr. Hilton and myself. So we had a meeting with Julie Sims, from Pinellas County Water and Navigation, and Mr. Hilton. The county based on the circumstances that were explained to them regarding the change in ownership, and the permit process had been started by Ms. Anexi, and then for health reasons, she was no longer able to complete that task. So Mr. Anexi and Mr. Hilton kind of started in the middle of the whole process. So basically, because of that, and during our meeting, the county stated they would waive the 5 times after the fact fee, but the property owner needed a licensed engineer to state the dock was up to current code, or have a contractor bring it to current code. We agreed that he would determine either if an engineer would sign off on the current condition of the dock, or he would contact a contractor and have a timeline in place within 30 days. So on October 11th of 2021, that 30 days had passed, and an amended notice of violation with the correct new ownership was mailed, and the green card was returned signed. On November 3rd of 2021, I conducted a reinspection, and the permit process had still not been completed. On November 10th of 2021, a notice of hearing was mailed, and the green card was returned signed. On November 29th of 2021, the sign was posted, and an affidavit of posting was signed. Yesterday, I completed the final inspection, and the permit process still had not been completed, and Mr. Anexi and Mr. Contos are here to let you know where they are with the permit process. So really, the only exhibit, I'm not going to bother pulling them up, was just a screenshot of the city permit showing that it's still in to be issued status, simply because they can't complete the city permit process until the county permit process is completed. So I'm asking the code board members to find the property in violation of City Code 6-1, which is the city code that adopts the Florida Building Code and International Property Maintenance Code, and to be found in violation of Florida Building Code 105.1, which is permits required. And that concludes my testimony.
Does the board have any questions for Ms. Hughes?
And we're not going all the way back to May, are we? Going back to May?
This is not a repeat violation.
No, but unless I misunderstood, this process started in May.
Yes, ma'am. The process started in May when Ms. Anexi still was taking care of the property.
So are we starting again from a different date because new owners have taken over?
This is still the same case. When the ownership changed, the new ownership was re-noticed, and that official re-notice date was not until October 11th.
So we're going.
They
to-
were aware prior to then, but they had not been formally noticed until
Okay.
October 11th.
Any other questions? Mr. Nexi, do you have any questions at this time for the city? Okay. Okay, would you like to come up and give your testimony? Either one of you?
We can only have one of you speak at a time, so it could be.
Okay. My name is Vasily Kontos. I'm the contractor that's going to be working on this. And as a current status, right now, we have a no objection with the city of Tarpon Springs. So they don't have anything. I think it's just a waterways permit. I'm not sure, since there's no roof structure on it. I'm not sure what we discussed with
There's
that.
no questions back and forth at this point, sir. You
Oh,
just make your
okay.
presentation.
So basically, the structural engineer came out, he took measurements and stuff. He's gonna be drawing up the plans and stuff to be submitting to Julie at the waterways. So that way they could go ahead and under-review it and approve it for the process. So I just don't know how long it's gonna take. You got Christmas coming up and he has to draw it up and stuff. But we are in the current status and moving forward with this to get this closed out.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Is that it? Mr. Nexi didn't want to say anything?
they pretty much, and I have a,
Okay.
if you guys want to see evidence, yeah, so there's no objection with Tarpon Springs with the dock and how it's built and stuff.
Okay, does the board have any questions for Mr. Contos? Do you have any questions?
I just have one question.
Okay.
From what you're saying then, that's the county that needs to approve this beyond the city? The city is okay with what's happened so far?
Correct, yeah, the city has no objection to it. Since it is a dock, the city does not do the permits, the county does.
I see. And that's what you're waiting on?
And that's, well, yeah, the engineered set's gonna go to the county, which I believe is Julie, that Beth has been talking to her too, so she knows the status of it. And then once they get it to, once engineer finish it, they'll approve it and issue the permit, and then we'll go ahead and get that closed out, and then we'll give the city the final closeout documents.
How much time do you think?
Well, by the time you do the plans and approve, I don't know how long the county's gonna take, since everybody's overwhelmed and so busy and short-staffed. I would say anywhere between 60 to 90 days for completion for final inspection.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And so what Mr. Contos gave me was the letter of no objection for the repair by the city, the Pinellas County permit application, and a drawing that went with it, and I have no objection to this being placed into evidence.
Okay, do you have anything to summarize?
So basically, the reason we're here is just to get the permit process completed. Since we have moved forward with the notice of hearing, I think a great deal of progress has been made. They've gotten the engineer there, and I do think we will be able to see this come to completion. So I think a reasonable time to get it finished, considering that, are you still waiting on the drawings?
Yes.
That he's still waiting on the drawings, but has had the engineer go there, that, you know, a reasonable deadline I would be comfortable with.
Mr. Contos, do you have anything else to summarize?
No.
Okay. So the public portion of this case is now closed, and I will entertain a motion.
I move based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented in the law that at the time of the alleged violations, Section City Code 6-1 and Florida Building Code 105.1 of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Tarpon Springs was in force and effect, and the respondents were in violation thereof.
Second.
Board have anything? Any? No? Okay. You want to call the roll then?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Bobbie, please.
Dr. Matelia?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Fidio?
Aye.
Ms. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes. Okay, and do you have any input on the compliance or daily fine?
So being that what is today, December
December 9th.
9th? Honestly, with the holidays and with them the engineer having gone but not completed the work yet, the dock is not a safety issue right now. It's just it needs to be completed. Just because I've had experience with seeing how long this permit process can be with engineering plans, and then once the plans are completed, they might have to make changes depending on what the county says. I would recommend 4 months, and also being that Mr. Annexi is a different owner than Mrs. Annexi, I'd say $50 a day as well.
Okay. Do you have a motion on the penalty phase?
Respondent, I move that the respondent shall have until April 1st of 2022 to bring the property into compliance with City Code 6-1 and Florida Building Code 105.1, or suffer a fine of $50 per day. For each day thereafter, the respondent remains in violation.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Matelia?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Fidio?
Aye.
Mrs. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Please your roll call.
Okay, number 4 and 5 are complied. So, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Did you want to give a?
I'll go ahead and give you a summary just so that you understand what has happened. So the Code Enforcement Board has found a violation of those two code sections, 6-1 and the Florida Building Code 105.1. Given the property owner until April 1st of next year to bring the property into compliance, in other words, get the permit. Should you fail to get the permit in by that period of time, a $50 a day fine will continue to run until the permit is obtained. There will be a written order. The written order will be issued in about 10 days. It'll be provided to the property owner, listed at the Pinellas County Property Appraiser's website address. If you have any questions about the matter after the hearing, you can contact Ms. Hughes, and she'll be happy to answer any of your questions. But we would expect the compliance to be by April the 1st. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, the next one we have is a repeat violator. It's 21-800000637 at 1639 Seabreeze Drive, Desiree Rose, Valencia. Is there anyone here? Okay, this is a new violation and a repeat violation. I am told we can do these together, but we will have to vote on each of them separately.
Pardon me?
We can do these together, but then when we come to vote, we'll have to vote on them separately.
Right.
And also, I have, you would give me a couple of emails from them, and we can put these into evidence.
Great.
I don't have to read them, okay. Okay.
Okay. My name is Beth Hughes. I'm the FACE Certified Code Inspector for the City of Tarpon Springs. This is case number 21-800000637 for 1639 Seabreeze Drive. This is a repeat violation for one of the violation codes of 8-16 under case number 20-800000625. The previous fine was $50 a day and totals $1,091.50 and is currently not paid. Exhibit 1 contains all the photographs. Exhibit 2 contains all the notice of violation and notice of hearings. Exhibit 3 contains the administrative documents to include the case summary, previous board orders, and property appraiser and tax collector records. Exhibit 4 contains the affidavit of posting and a copy of the sign. Exhibit 5 is the affidavit of prosecution costs. All of the photographs and exhibits that were given to the violator are exact copies of what is being presented to the board. All notices were mailed to the property owner of record as determined by the Pinellas County Property Appraiser and Tax Collector databases. All notice of violation and notice of hearings are sent return receipt requested and first-class mail. And Madam Chair, please accept all exhibits into the record as evidence.
Bobbie, if you would, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Get the emails. Oh, we got more than that.
Okay, so we have had contact with the owner by email and by phone. I conducted the initial inspection on November 3rd of 2021. 2 trash cans were in the right-of-way on a Wednesday, which was not a trash pickup day. The vehicle in the driveway did not have a plate mounted on it, and the white Cadillac did not have a current tag. It had expired in December of 2020, and the Escalade that was also parked there did not have a current tag and was expired in September of 2021. On November 3rd of 2021, the repeat violation notice of hearing was mailed for the trash can violation, and a notice of violation was mailed for the new violation of the unregistered cars, and the mail was returned unclaimed. On November 3rd of 2021, the property owner called to state that the trash cans would be removed and should be in compliance. On November 5th of 2021, I conducted a reinspection and the trash cans were out of public view. I did give her the benefit of the doubt and put it in compliance so that she was only in violation for the one day. On November 19th of 2021, I conducted a reinspection for the new violation of the unregistered cars. The cars parked in the right-of-way still had expired tags, and the car in the driveway did not have a tag at all. On November 19th of 2021, the notice of hearing was mailed for the new violation, and per the postal tracking notice, it was left with no authorized recipient stamped on it. On November 29th of 2021, a sign was posted and an affidavit of posting was signed. And yesterday on December 8th, I conducted a final inspection. At least 2 of the vehicles had been moved out of the right-of-way, were in the driveway, and one still did not have a tag at all, and one was still expired. Let me go ahead and pull up the pictures. Okay, so this was the vehicle for the initial inspection that was in the driveway with no tag. This is the one where you can see that, and I did run all the tags to make sure. Sometimes people forget to put the stickers on them, but this did actually expire in 2021, September of 2021, I believe. And when I ran this one, this was expired as well. And this is an image of the trash can being out on a non-trash day. And then the reinspection yesterday, this vehicle still had an expired tag, and this one still was there without a tag at all. Okay, so what I'm asking the code board, and I apologize, I did not, I know you mentioned the email already. Part of the email and what she had asked is that she basically had emailed us letting us know that she was unable to attend, and she wanted to, excuse me, request the end of January as the deadline for the inoperable cars, partially due that that's when I believe one of the cars is going to be registered for a new driver. So anyway, long story short, I told her I would let you know when her request was for the end of January to get them registered. So basically what I'm asking for is for the property to be found in violation for the repeat violation of 8-16 from the initial inspection on November 3rd of 2021 and to be in compliance on November 4th of 2021 for a total of 1 day. And for the code board members to find the property in violation for the new violation of 40.00 for inoperable vehicles. And just a note for an inoperable vehicle is also defined by either literally not being operable or not having a current registration. Otherwise, it has to be in an completely enclosed structure. And that concludes my testimony.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board? Do you have anything to summarize, Beth?
No, ma'am. I think I covered everything I need to. Thank you for asking.
We will do the new violation first, so if I can have a motion.
I move that based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented and law, that at the time of the alleged violation, section City Code -40.00 of the Code of City Ordinances of the City of Tarpon Springs was in force and effect, the respondent was in violation thereof.
Need a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Furio?
Abstain.
Abstain. Ms. Tellier?
Yes.
Ms. Archer?
Yes. And we need a motion for the penalty part of it?
We're doing the repeat violation now?
Yeah, no.
The new violation?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
She said she wanted the end of January, was what she asked.
She requested the end of January, yes, sir.
I move that, based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented in the law, that at the time of the alleged violation, section 40.00 was in force and effect, and the respondent was in violation thereof.
We just did that one.
Oh, we did?
Yeah,
We need
this is
the penalty phase.
Oh,
for the
okay,
new
okay,
violation.
okay. I move that the respondent shall have until January 30th of 2022 to bring the property into compliance of city code. So we're doing 8-16, the repeat violator?
No, we're
No,
doing,
I'm doing the 4.0.00, or suffer a fine of $50 per day thereafter, while she remains in violation of said code.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
I have a question for the code enforcement officer relative to this specific case. If the vehicles in question have a cloth removable car cover placed over them obscuring the license plate, does that bring them into compliance?
Am I at the point where I can answer that, since it's not related? Okay, sorry. So no, the answer would be no. If I never verified that there was a violation and I couldn't see the license plate and there was no other reason for me to know that it was in violation, but once I know there's a violation, I have to know that that violation is now in compliance. So by covering it would not put it in compliance. Does that answer?
Thank you.
Sure.
I still need a second.
We have a second.
We have a second.
We're doing
Okay.
roll call.
I guess no more discussion. Roll call, please.
Yes, ma'am. Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Perfidio abstained. Mrs. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Completes your roll call.
Okay, now we're going to do the repeat violation on this, and need a motion?
This is the with the repeat violation in compliance, yes?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, I move based on the testimony, evidence, facts presented, and law that, what is it? Is this the respondent? That's the Desiree Valencia was in violation of City Code 8-16 of Tarpon Springs City Code from 11-4. I'm sorry, I've never done one of these. I apologize. So it was
Do you have the dates?
11.
No.
Yes, sir. The initial inspection, so the date of violation was from November 3rd, and it was in compliance on November 4th.
Oh, so one day. And that it, and what was the fine that had been?
Previously, it had been $50 for the prior case.
So, I mean, what's,
Fine them for the one day, right?
That's correct. You
Fine
just need
them
to
for the 1
establish a
day.
fine for 1 day.
so it's just a fine of 75
Okay?
for the one day. In addition, I move that the city be awarded $59.50 for the cost incurred in prosecuting the case.
Okay. Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Mr. Rolleston?
Aye.
Mr. Perfidio has abstained. Ms. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes. Okay, now we go to affidavits of non-compliance. We have one, 21-8000467 at 305 Grand Boulevard, Stephen C. Brown Estate. I'm saying that right?
Now, just note for the record, there's no one in the audience for this case. So we just need a motion to accept the affidavit of non-compliance then, plus the prosecution costs.
Okay.
I move based on the testimony, evidence, and facts presented in law that the respondents failed to timely comply with this board's prior order within the time prescribed and to award the city $1,137.00 for the cost incurred in prosecution of this case.
Second?
I-
Need a second? Oh,
I apologize. Can you hold on a minute? I'm not sure that number was correct. Brian's going to double check the amount. I think that was a typo. I just noticed the amount.
okay.
Even?
Yes, 137.
It should have been $137, and the affidavit is attached to the non-compliance that was submitted to the board members. Sorry about that.
Okay, so can I just
Need to amend
amend-
your motion.
Yeah, I
Yes,
just-
sir.
Yeah, I just want to amend the motion to state that the award to the city will be $137.00 for the cost incurred in prosecuting of this case.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Dr. Matea?
Aye.
Rolleston?
Yes.
Mr. Porfidio?
Aye.
Mrs. Tellier?
Yes.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes. Okay, now we have affidavits of compliance. Someone want to do those, or?
One
We'll
one
do
of them has to be done because they have.
Yeah, okay, we'll do one at a time. 21-800000341. That's parcel 07-27-16-26928-011-0190 of 721 Boston Street, Robert Dulac.
I move to accept the affidavit of compliance and award the city $146.50 in prosecuting the case.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we have 21-800000249 at 900 North Pinellas Avenue, Ziering Family Trust, William Henry Ziering, trustee.
Is there something missing from this?
They were already given prosecution calls on their non-compliance.
Okay.
So I just go ahead and do the, all in favor?
No, we need a motion for affidavit of compliance.
Oh, that's right, okay. Need a motion for compliance?
I move to accept the affidavit of compliance and
900.
no cost to the city as it's been resolved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, then we have 21-800000298 at 204 Leafwood Road.
I move to accept the affidavit of compliance and to award the city $171 in prosecuting, the cost in prosecuting the case.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Now we have the approval of our minutes. Do we have anything else on here? Okay. Anyone want to make a motion? Have you looked at the minutes from prior?
I recommend
Anyone?
approval.
Need a second?
Second.
Just for clarity's sake, then this is be a motion to approve both the minutes from October 2021 and November 2021.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Can I say all approved?
Yes.
Say aye.
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 Any objection? Okay. We're down to public comments. We don't have any public, so.
Officer Boone?
Does the board have any comments?
Just Merry Christmas to all.
Happy holidays to everyone.
Staff?
Just to welcome Mr. Mattia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Very happy to have you on board.
Yes.
And Merry Christmas.
Okay, that's great. I'd like to wish everyone a happy holidays, also Merry Christmas, and close the meeting at 2:53.
It's like you've done this before, Ms. Archer.
So,
Probably should have done it.
I think
just
so.
want my hand
Yes.
voted.
I just didn't know what I was voting on,
Yeah.
honestly.
Oh, thank you, sweet.
Yes, I have that.